fact that your elevator pitch is probably weaker than your bench press, and I'm going to attempt to fix this for you within the next 10 minutes. Why do you need a compelling elevator pitch? Why not just do what you do and go along your merry way? The people who clearly articulate an elevator pitch are like, whoa, this person must know what they're talking about. There are 4 things you need to create a killer elevator pitch. The first one is you need to understand who your ideal client is. What problem that you solve is number 2. Number 3 is what do these clients not want to sacrifice in the process of getting to their goal? And number 4 is what is the dream transformation? Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Welcome back. Before we dive in today, I wanted to remind you of something that I've been reminded of recently that's been really helpful for me, and it's getting in the right environments and the right rooms. I've noticed when I've been feeling a little bit low or things have been off, the common theme for me is that I'm not surrounding myself with people who are expansive and who think bigger. And typically I'm probably doing the opposite, or I'm surrounding myself in just my own little bubble, working from home all the time. And so there is no one else to help expand me to see bigger and beyond what is inside my own belief system. So this is your reminder. If you are feeling a little stuck at the moment, find an environment that you can get into, whether that's a coaching or mentoring container, or it's going to a co-work space, or it's, reaching out to that person and having a meeting and checking in with them, or someone who you admire and look up to, or creating opportunities where you can get into these rooms. There's so many of them, and it is such an underrated hack to level up your mindset and expand your possibilities. And this sort of leads into the topic of today, which is the fact that your elevator pitch is probably weaker than your bench press. And I'm going to attempt to fix this for you within the next 10 minutes. So first things first is, why do you need a compelling elevator pitch? Why not just do what you do and go along your merry way? Well, the thing is that when people ask you, what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm an exercise physiologist. Firstly, that's not what you do. That is your profession, right? You don't do exercise physiology, or you don't do dietetics, or you don't do mindset coaching. What you do is you get people results, okay? And so oftentimes when you say, oh, I'm a personal trainer, people go, okay, and then they move on, right? There's not really much more. It's not compelling to draw people in. And the whole idea is we want people to know exactly what we do, who we serve, and we want them asking more questions of us, because that's how we're going to help serve more people and have more people come into our world. So you need a compelling elevator pitch to draw people in, get them asking more questions so they know exactly what you do and can potentially refer people onto you or put their hand up and say, hey, I want to work with you. It also clearly articulates what you do. If you say, I'm an exercise physiologist, then people are like, oh, okay. And then maybe they don't really know what that is or what subset within that you do because you didn't tell them. Then you also get to be seen as the authority in your space instantly. The people who clearly articulate an elevator pitch are like, whoa, this person must know what they're talking about. I'm going to go through examples of what this looks like so that you have examples. And then also it's going to help you get more dream clients. The first thing before we go into this is that we need to go through the rules of elevator pitching. So the rules are, everyone needs to understand this. If you use terminology specific just to your clientele, that's great for them. But if you're talking to someone who is not your ideal client and they don't know what you said, then they're potentially going to either have to ask questions and it's going to be like confusing, or they're going to go, oh, okay, and just kind of like move on. And maybe they knew someone who was perfect for you, but they didn't know what the hell you were talking about because you used language or terminology that they couldn't understand. Okay. The other thing is it needs to be clear, not clever. I find a lot of people who like to use like alliteration or like rhyming and things like that. But if it doesn't make sense and you're doing that just to make it sound cool, it's not going to be clear. So I had someone once who was like, oh, I'm going to use transcend your limits. And I was like, what does that mean? Right. And this person's business had transcend in the name. And so it was like on brand, but without clarity, I was like, I have no idea what this is. And I would never be able to refer you anyone with just that alone. The other thing with elevator pitching is it should be able to instantly recognize for the person listening whether they are your ideal client or they know someone who is your ideal client. Really, really helpful, because if you say I'm a personal trainer, then someone looking for a personal trainer might be like, yeah, but do you specialize in men's health, right? And so they still might not want to work with you because you haven't created clarity for them. If you're a little bit lost on some of this stuff, I really recommend going back to our episode on niching down and why that's so important and how to do that potentially before doing this episode. But either way, you're going to get clarity on your elevator pitch today. So there are 4 things you need to create a killer elevator pitch. The first one is you need to understand who your ideal client is. What problem that you solve is number 2. Number 3 is what do these clients not want to sacrifice in the process of getting to their goal. And number 4 is what is the dream transformation? So typically we have an outcome that will be like a shorter step towards the long-term vision, i.e. I want to lose 10 kilos, but the dream vision is to find the partner of my dreams. Okay. So it's usually a much bigger thing when we talk about their dream transformation. So the I help statement, or your elevator pitch, as it's also known, will be like this. I help dream clients, in brackets, whoever that is, achieve whatever this, the opposite of the problem, so the outcome, without, and then it's sacrificing the thing that they don't want so that they can achieve their dream transformation. I'm going to give you some examples of this, and I've got 4 of our students. I'm going to run through them. So the first one is our student called Sam, and her ideal client are runners in pain. The problem that they have is they can't run without pain. What they don't want to sacrifice, giving up running. And the dream outcome for them is running further than ever before and hitting new personal bests. Okay. So the reason that they don't want to sacrifice giving up running is because so many other health professionals say, oh, stop running for a period of time, right? So we've put that in there as the thing they don't want to sacrifice, because they might be looking for someone specifically who's not going to say, oh, just stop running, right? And that might be common that they hear. So Sam's I help statement is, I help runners build resilient bodies to fly over the finish line without pain and injuries holding them back. And why I love this one so much is because their goal, and this is something that gets confused quite a lot, is people go, oh, well, their goal is pain-free. No, it's not. Once they're pain-free, they have a goal beyond that. And if we only work with people until they get pain-free, then we should either A, be referring them on, or B, be supporting them to their actual goal. No one's goal in life is just to be pain-free and just sit there and do nothing. Right? Typically, they want to get out of pain so that they can do something, right? There's something that they currently can't do because they are in pain. And so in Sam's case, it is they can't hit PBs in their running because they're in pain. Okay? Really important to articulate that their goal is not to get out of pain. There is a goal beyond that. And if people tell you that, then you need to dig deeper in their initial consults and ask why, until you really drag up the actual result that they want. Okay. Then we have Jazz, and she came to me and was like, oh, I want to work with women in sport. And that's kind of like all we had. So we workshopped this, and then we realized the problem is that they're slow. They're getting less court time on the court, and they're not performing like they used to. So for these women in sport getting less court time, what they don't want to sacrifice is spending hours in the gym. A common thing that they will probably hear is just spend 5 hours in the gym. And they're like, no, I just want to play my sport. I don't want to be in the gym all the time, right? So we kind of hit the objection on the head by saying, oh, but you won't have to spend hours every single week in the gym, okay? And the dream outcome for these women is to continue competing for years to come. So what we've put together for Jazz's I help statement is, I help women in sport to improve their performance without spending hours in the gym so that they can continue competing for years to come, right? It's very similar to the 4 points that we put through. And this is not meant to be complex. This is just meant to be really clear and concise. And so if I was a woman in sport wanting to compete for years to come without spending hours in the gym, I'd be like, Jazz, I need your help. Really clear on who she serves. Or if I know someone who's in that category, I could quickly and easily say, hey, I know someone who should be working with you. And it's much easier for a referral that way because people are like, oh my God, I've been looking for someone who does exactly that. Or I know my friend's really struggling with this. I'd love for you to help her, right? As opposed to saying, oh, I'm an exercise physiologist. And they're like, okay. And then they walk away. Then we have Zane, and his ideal client is high performers. The problem that they face is that they're training in pain and they are not seeing the results in their physique and in their body. Okay. What these people don't want to sacrifice is eating the foods that they love. And the dream outcome is to build their best body yet. So Zane's I help statement, or his elevator pitch, is I help high performers eat guilt-free and train pain-free while achieving their leanest and strongest physiques. Cool. Really simple, but adding those things in, I now know exactly if I am someone who wants to train with Zane or I know someone who wants to train with Zane or not, which is perfect. We want to both repel and attract the people who are and are not our clients, respectively. Then we have Taylor. Her ideal client, she was like, oh, it's women who have like specific hormone issues, right? And I said to her, I was like, cool, but if we put that in there, is every single woman who has these issues with hormones, are they going to know that they have hormone issues? And she said, no. And I said, cool, what do they know? And she said, well, they all have like really low energy and fatigue and things like that. And I was like, cool. So we've got to use that. Really important to be clear, not clever or not niche in terms of like, if we said women who have low thyroid issues, unless you have been diagnosed, you may not know. So it's important to get to and speak to the problem rather than necessarily a diagnosis. Okay. So Taylor's ideal client are women with poor energy levels. And the problem is they want to lose weight and improve their energy, okay? And what they don't want to sacrifice is more time on money and money on results that don't work because they've tried lots of things before. The dream outcome that these women have is a solution that actually works long-term. So our sentence for Taylor is, I help women lose 10 plus kilos and boost their energy in 3 months through sustainable solutions that actually work. Okay, so the thing that we're really harping on about here with Taylor is that she's had people who come to her and they're like, oh, well, nothing else has worked. I've tried everything. And this might be common for you too. So putting sustainable solutions in her, in the way that she gets the outcome is really important for her ideal clients who are already thinking, well, is this going to be sustainable or is it going to be a fad diet? Okay. And the thing I love that Taylor added as well, which is like brownie points in my books for an elevator pitch, is that she put a time frame. So she said she's going to help them lose 10 kilos and boost their energy in 3 months. So it's really clear as a time frame, because you could get someone to do that, but it could take them, 3 years, and then they're like, well, was it really worth it? So adding in the timeline in there is a massive, massive bonus points in my books when you are doing this. But I get that, sometimes that can vary and maybe it's a little harder to articulate, but if you can add a timeline in there as well, that is going to be incredible. So your next steps are to create yours, obviously. So remembering those 4 points that you need is ideal client, the problem that they have, what they don't want to sacrifice, and the dream outcome to craft your sentence. Okay, so the sentence again is, I help your dream client achieve opposite of the problem, so the outcome to that problem or the solution to that problem, without and then sacrificing the thing that they don't want to sacrifice so that they can achieve dream outcome. All right. Once you've crafted that, chuck it in your Instagram bio, put it on the front bit of your website. This is so important. People are not going and waking up in the morning and going, oh, I need a personal trainer. That's not how it happens. What happens is that they start to gain a little bit of weight and a little bit more. And then they're 10 kilos overweight and they're like, I really need some help with this. I need to, I don't feel good in my clothes. I want to feel better. And then they go, okay, well, the solution is I need to lose weight. And then they may go, I could have shakes to lose weight. I could have surgery. I could take Ozempic. I could get a personal trainer. There's so many solutions. So we need to be solution or outcome oriented in our I help statement, not your profession oriented. Really, really important. Instead of saying like, I'm a personal trainer, we're talking about how we get people to help lose weight with our method. Okay. Now, the test with this is the next time someone asks you, what do you do? Please don't say, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a dietitian, I'm a mindset coach, I'm a strength coach, whatever. You should say your I help statement. They say, what do? You say, I help women in sport improve their performance without spending hours in the gym so that they can continue to compete for years to come. How much more are you almost like, whoa, it feels like they're an authority in the space already from one sentence, right? Now, people should also ask you off the back of that, how do you do that? Or tell me more, or who do you work with, right? Particularly if it's something that is of interest to them, or they might know someone, or they might be a potential ideal client. So that is the feedback you're going to get from people when they ask you that question. Then your exclusive opportunity for staying this long. I'm sure we've gone over 10 minutes. So if you're still here and because you're listening to this, DM me your elevator pitch and I will provide you personalized feedback. Okay. I want that one sentence, your I help sentence, your elevator pitch sentence, and I will give you personalized feedback just for listening to this episode and DMing that to me. And my Instagram handle is @ZeniaWoodOfficial. Okay. Until next episode, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.